Good afternoon. It's 12 p.m. and I'll call the sixth special meeting of the Corporate Services Committee to order. This is a 2021 meeting, virtual meeting during the COVID emergency. Please check city website for current details of COVID-19 service impacts. Meetings can be viewed via live streaming on YouTube and the city website. We have a quorum of our committee attending virtually. And I should announce that the City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication supports for council, standing or advisory committee meetings, and information upon request. To make a request for any city service, please contact accessibility@london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 2425. To make a request specific to this meeting, please contact csc@london.ca. So the first item is to look for disclosures of pecuniary interest. I'll go to the committee. Seeing none. We have one item on the agenda as it's a special meeting. There are no consent items, no scheduled items. The one item for direction, 4.1, is the 2021 debenture issuance report number 2. Committee were looked to make 2 actions on their recommendation of our staff to approve the issuance of the $23 million for debentures at an all-in rate of 1.819% over a 10-year term, and to introduce the associated bylaws to council. So at this, I'll look to the committee for comments. Councillor Morgan.
Yeah, I'll just make one comment. Having sat on corporate services for my entire time on council, I will say, I know this is not always an exciting report for the public, but it's a really important report. Our ability to issue debt for the work that we do at very competitive rates of interest, of which in our case, we want them to be very low, is actually quite incredible given, you know, the turmoil that we've come through. And I'm glad to see again that not only have we been able to issue the debentures, but at a rate of an average rate of 1.81% is excellent for the municipality. I know that the Bank of Canada is still involved in creating some liquidity in the market, but it still seems like the appetite for our financial offerings are well prescribed to, and at rates that are very good for the taxpayers of the City of London. So congratulations to both our staff as well as our financial partners in getting this issuance out, and I'm certainly supportive of it because I couldn't imagine us doing any better than this. It's a very excellent report. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Are there further comments from committee?
If I could, Chair, I'm not sure if you can see my hand or not.
I can see your hand, Mr. Mayor, please.
All right, very much. Echoing the Deputy Mayor's comments, I'd like to just take it a little further in this direction. First, I'd like to acknowledge that the uptake on this debenture was incredibly timely and well received in the marketplace. And I think in no small part that has everything to do with our AAA credit rating, which we've enjoyed for roughly 45 years now, the only municipality that I'm aware of that can boast and make that claim. I think that's a testament as well, Chair, to the great work of our Chief Financial Officer and her team that frankly are consistently mindful of what needs to be done to be able to put together the kind of work that goes into this debenture. I'll note as well that we've had several debentures over the last number of years, which is again a commonplace practice for us to be able to run the responsibilities of our city. And this is another example, albeit a little bit smaller than I'll say the norm, at some 23 million versus say 36 million the last debenture that we did, and 49 million the time before that, again over the last couple of years. What I would say that I think not only is this a very competitive rate, but it doesn't. These things just don't happen, Chair, and I really it may not be captivating to the public, but they have a very vested interest in our ability to be able to do this because it allows us to extend the work needed to be done through the city in terms of infrastructure and the like that makes this possible. So, so thank you, staff, to Mr. Murray and to Falakimi Ajibola for the work you've done in making this work, and Ms. Barbone, your whole team. We appreciate it very much. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Your Worship. And perhaps at this time, for the sake of the public listening to the short meeting, I might go to staff for a comment just on a comment about the low interest rate that we received and the modest amount that we're borrowing this year.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the opportunity to say a few words, and happy to be here today on behalf of Ms. Barbone, who is off on a well-deserved week off this week. So definitely thrilled to present the results of our 2021 debt issuance this year. As you noted, and other members of committee have noted, an extremely favorable rate this year. I believe it's second lowest ever that the city has been able to achieve. So definitely a very favorable result to the city and to the taxpayers of London. This year's issuance was led by TD Securities. So we are fortunate to be joined by Mr. Les Peterdy from TD today. So if there are any detailed questions about the issuance, Mr. Peterdy is able to respond to those questions. With respect to the amount of the issuance, I guess what I'll start by saying is that municipalities, unlike our federal or provincial governments, strictly limit debt issuance to capital projects. So debt issuance is not completed for general operating purposes. It is strictly for capital works. And because of that, it can vary from year to year, depending on the ebb and flow of our capital plan and our capital spending. So that is part of the reason why this year's issuance is lower than it has been in the past couple of years. I think it's also a function, too, of our very conservative and prudent debt management practices. We've been making a concerted effort to reduce the amount of debt that we are utilizing to fund our capital plan. And I think over the course of, say, the past 5 years, we've managed to bring that down from north of 330 million of total debt issued and outstanding to, I think we're in the approximately $280 million range right now. So that's definitely kind of contributing to the amount of debt we're issuing as well. So with that, happy to entertain any other questions as well.
Thank you very much. And I'll look to our committee to see if there are any other questions. I'm seeing none, so perhaps I'll look then for a mover of the recommendations. Chair Cassidy, and seconded by Councillor Pelosa. So seeing no further need for comments, let's put that question on the floor, and I'll turn your attention to the screens.
Closing the vote, the motion's passed 6-0.
Thank you very much, committee. There are no deferred matters or additional business items, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Pelosa, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. Shall we vote on screen? All in favor? Have a good evening and evening, everyone.